Cold, damp, dreary morning at Del Mar on Tuesday. I'm sure that all the 45 or 50 European horses that are here for the Breeders' Cup feel right at home. Not so much us Floridians. I'm Mike Welsch, coming to you from Del Mar with the Daily Racing Form. Breeders' Cup workout report brought to you by Spendthrift Farm. Just about all the players are here now. Maybe all of them are on the grounds. It seemed like it was just an endless stream of Breeders' Cup horses out there on the racetrack this morning. Starting at 5:30 with the appearance of Dirt Mile favorite Life is Good, and ending about 4 hours later with two of the other big names on this year's Breeders' Cup program, Knicks Go and Latruska, training simultaneously just before the track closed at 9:30. The main track was fast. It's been on the quick side since I've arrived here for almost the last week now. And the turf course, which was open, there was one turf work today, we'll get to that shortly, was listed as firm. There's been no rain here in a while, so firm and probably a little bit on the hard side. There was 6 Breeders' Cup official works this morning. A 7th horse that I clocked coming out of the gate didn't get an official work, but a noteworthy move there too. The only classic horse to work this morning was Stiletto Boy. A little bit disappointed in what I saw from him. I understand it was probably a maintenance work, just 4 days out from the race. But Stiletto Boy won a slow half mile in 52, a lackluster final quarter in 26-2. The lone turf work was turned in by Loves Only You, who worked very well over the dirt here several days early. It came out on the grass today. She's prepping for the filly and mare turf. She went 3-ace officially, and on my watch anyway, they gave her an official 3-ace in 38-3. But forget the final time. First of all, the dogs were out way past the middle of the track, so she worked very wide from the 3-ace pole to the wire. But she came home in 24-1. She warmed into the work with a strong quarter-mile open gallop, and she finished with plenty of energy, had a lot left in the tank, galloping out into the turn. So all in all, I thought it was a very good performance from Loves Only You, and I have her as one of my key contenders, probably going to be my top choice in the filly and mare turf. She was one of 4 Japanese invaders that actually worked this morning. The others were Ping Seeing for the Dirt Mile. Same thing, open galloped into the work, went quick, 35-4, 23-1 down the lane, but was all out to do so, was asked to sharpen up his speed for the Dirt Mile. March Lorraine for the Distaff has a pretty imposing task ahead of her in the Distaff field, a very good Distaff field. She was officially credited with 3-ace and 35-4 down the lane in 23-2, also under pressure to finish. She actually won about 3/4 of a mile, though. She started out at the 6 furlong pole and gradually eased into a work. I actually had her final 5-ace in 1:02-3, but like I said, zipping down the lane in 23-2. Jasper the Great for the Juvenile also blew out this morning, 3-ace and 35-4, but it was an eventful work. As he went into the turn after completing the work, he ducked out suddenly, almost bolted into the turn, nearly lost his rider as he went into the clubhouse turn. The outrider actually came over to try to help. The rider waved him off. He was back and fine and continued out. And all the Japanese horses, as we've noted before, spend plenty of time on the racetrack. Even when they work, they're out here 20 minutes before they work, another 20 minutes after, visiting the paddock and just doing their thing. But like I said, of the 4 Breeders' Cup Japanese horses this morning, and of all the works this morning, I thought Loves Only You was the best. The other Breeders' Cup horse to work was Sumter in the dark, juvenile turf sprint, went 36-2. And from the gate, Twilight Jet. Also, I think he's a sneaky horse in the juvenile turf sprint. Blinkers on, coming off a big win in Europe before shipping here. I had him in 23-3 after he broke out of the gate from the 8th pole into the turn. I thought he looked good, so I'm looking at Twilight Jet as a sleeper in the juvenile turf sprint. There were probably over 150 horses on the track this morning, so hard to get a look at everybody, especially with the first hour and a half or so in the dark. But I will mention some highlights. Like I said, the Aidan O'Brien, first view of them, seven horses here for this year's Breeders' Cup, going out in their usual military-like procession, one behind the other, unflappable, all of them. and they had a busy morning. They jogged a mile, turned around, and canted another mile. So a good first day for the O'Brien horses. The Kentucky-based horses also got in yesterday and had their first morning on the track today. In fact, their flight was delayed several hours. They got in late last evening. Among the notable ones, Essential Quality and stablemate Knicks Go, as I mentioned, was out later this morning. Essential Quality went early, just jogged a mile, an easy morning for him. Knicks Go, no easy mornings for Knicks Go. He's just so high-strung. He was out here at 9:15, galloped a strong about a mile and a quarter, mile and a half, in those draw reins that he usually goes in to try to keep him at as good a pace as possible. And he was out on the track simultaneously with Latruska. She visited the starting gate today, and then after she broke from the pony, was very full of run, won a quarter of a mile at almost a 2-minute clip before sailing into a good stride and then completing about a mile and 3/8 gallop in her first serious move since that somewhat eventful half-mile breeze here on Saturday when she hooked in inadvertently with another horse. As for the other Breeders' Cup horses of note this morning that I saw, Hot Rod Charlie, another very good morning for him. Very full of run down the stretch in that typical style for that barn. Medina Spirit, my first look at him this morning, just an easy gallop. He was on the inside rail all the way, kind of a no-no when it comes to just galloping horses, but Medina Spirit, I guess being the Kentucky Derby winner, you can get away with that kind of stuff, but a decent first morning for him. An Express Train got a little warm in the coat this morning, which is surprising because, as I mentioned, the temperatures were unseasonably cool here, barely getting into the 60s during training hours. Some other horses that did catch my eye among all the horses out there this morning. Warlike Goddess, I thought she had a great morning. She was full of herself. She opened galloped about 6 furlongs through the stretch and into the turn. So big thumbs up there. Juju's Map and She Dares the Devil for trainer Brad Cox. Both had made great first impressions here today after getting in last night. Same for the Todd Pletcher pair following C and Command Performance. They were out in the same set this morning. Both looked very good. Another big day for Clariere. A good morning for Royal Flag, and all the Chad Brown horses strong as usual, open galloping most of the way around the 1 mile oval here. So like I said, now major works, most of the works are done. Might see a European or two get out on the turf and stretch their legs a little bit tomorrow, but it's just watching the gallops, make sure everybody gets around there clean and sound and happy. We're now only 72 hours away from the opening of this year's Breeders' Cup on Friday. The entries are drawn, everybody's ready to go, and so are we. So keep it right here, though. We have plenty more info for you at DRF.com, both regarding the workouts and all the other news concerning this year's Breeders' Cup 2021.